Welcome to episode 173 of Build Your House Yourself University by BYHYU. I'm your host and fellow student, Michelle Nelson. And together we'll learn the basics of home design and construction and demystify the building process so we can make smart decisions and build quality dream homes with or without a general contractor. Although you may have thought about the color and material you want for your roof, the typical homeowner puts little thought into the actual design of their roof. And roof overhangs specifically? Forget about it. Roof overhangs haven't even crossed the minds of most people. A roof overhang is simply an extension of the eave or edge of the house. The overhang can extend beyond the exterior walls of the house, many inches or a few feet. In this week's mini lesson, I'll tell you why overhangs shouldn't just be an afterthought, and why almost every new house should include them when possible. Before we get into the meat of the mini lesson, let's go over a pro term. Our pro term this week is scupper. A roof scupper is a roof drainage system used for flat roofs, also called parapet roofs. Scuppers have metal openings at the edge of the roof. From that metal scupper opening, roof water moves into and through a downspout that looks similar to a downspout in a typical gutter system. Roof scuppers are not the same as roof drains. Roof drains channel water through the floor or deck of the flat roof. Then the water from the roof drain enters a hidden piping system that carries it away from the house. Roof drains are typically more expensive than scuppers. With a scupper, water drains through the opening in the side or edge of the roof, and then down a downspout that's usually on the exterior of the house. Roof drain systems are often hidden, while scuppers are easily seen and can even be used in the design of the exterior of the house, or if you prefer, they can be made less noticeable by being tucked away in an exterior corner. So that's scuppers, our pro term this week. I also want to tell you about a company that's been helping me at my construction site. I'm working with Zeters. Zeters, spelled Z-T-E-R-S, is a one-stop shop for the construction site services that you'll need for your build. Did you know that in most areas you legally have to provide a portable toilet and dumpster on all construction sites? The good thing about Zeters is that they can help you set up the delivery and servicing of your portable toilets and dumpsters. And they can also help you with construction site fencing and storage units too. Zeters will act as a representative for builders and homeowners like us to make sure we know about all rental fees up front. They're a single point of contact for all your different construction site services. You can learn more about Zeters by going to zeters.com. I've been super happy with them, so check them out. Again, it's at Zeters, ZTERS.com. All right, moving on to this week's mini lesson. The Fine Home Building Forum says that a roof overhang is, quote, one of the most important basic design features to a well-designed building, and it is almost always ignored or misunderstood, end quote. The most common errors made with designing and building roofs is forgetting about the overhangs. A house with absent or small overhangs can overheat in the summer and be damaged by rain all year long. Rarely, in areas that have long and especially cold winters, roof overhangs might be too wide, creating too much shade on houses that could benefit from warm sun several months of the year. But overhangs that are too small are a much more common problem. Here are some reasons why our houses should have roof overhangs. Number 1, keeping water off of exterior walls. Perhaps the most important function of roof overhangs is to help keep water off siding, windows, and doors. Of course, it's not possible to stop all rain, especially wind-driven rain, from reaching your exterior walls, but properly sized roof overhangs can give quite a bit of protection. Exterior walls with small roof overhangs get wet every time it rains, causing moisture problems, including potential mold growth, rotting, and deterioration of paint, stains, structural materials, and window frames. Obviously, the risk of moisture problems is greater in higher rainfall regions, but adding roof overhangs that are properly sized to protect your home's exterior makes sense for houses in most areas. Number 2, keeping rain off of your home's foundation. Another function of roof overhangs is to ensure that roof rainwater falls away from the foundation. Gutters can help with this too, but gutters work best in conjunction with roof overhangs. Without overhangs, rain falls on the roof and then travels down the home's exterior walls, and then settles on the ground next to the home's foundation. Overhangs help to keep the foundation and basement dry and free of leaks. Number 3, reducing splashback. Keeping roof water spillage from settling directly next to the house also limits the damage caused by splashback. Splashback occurs when water hits the ground right beside the house and then splashes back against the home's exterior walls and doors. Splashback can cause rot and deterioration of the lower part of the house over time. And splashback can also cause excess dirt on the bottom of your house, which is especially noticeable on light-colored houses. Number 4, shading your windows. Now, this is the main reason I want roof overhangs. The most effective way to reduce summer heat gain through windows and glass doors is to block the sunlight before it hits the glass. This can be done with exterior shading devices, including overhangs. This not only makes the house more comfortable, but it also reduces your air conditioning bill. For this reason, overhangs are a key design feature if you have large windows and live in a region with hot summers. Obviously, how much shading you want will depend on where you live. If you live in a place with long, cold winters and fairly comfortable summers, you probably want the sun's heat to come through your windows almost all year long. But if you live in an area like I do, where the summers are long and hot, you probably want to reduce solar heat gain through your windows with wider overhangs. There's no true standard size for overhangs, but typical overhangs that are used for protection against rainfall are 16 to 18 inches wide. But overhangs wanted for shading should be minimally 24 inches. Most commonly, though, they're 36 inches wide or more. There's a program that house designers, architects, mechanical engineers, and curious homeowners can use to determine the ideal width of overhangs for your region. You can find a similar online overhang design tool called Sustainable by Design, and you can play with that for free. I'll have a link to that tool in the show notes. Now, let me quickly address two-story houses. Are second-floor roof overhangs adequate to protect first-floor windows and walls from sun and rain? The short answer is no, not usually. Roof overhangs will protect the upper floor of a 2- or 3-story house, but you'll need additional overhangs for the lower floors. Think about it. Roof overhangs on a 2-story wall are at least 17 feet above the lowest points of the exterior walls. So roof overhangs by themselves often do a poor job of protecting tall walls from rain and sun. 2-story homes often need a covering for every floor. That might come in the form of a second-floor balcony to protect the exterior wall below it, or an awning or brow roof that can be used above the first floor to shelter walls beneath. A brow roof, by the way, is a roof-like projection that's attached to the exterior wall right above the first floor of the house. So, should you place overhangs on all sides of the house? Yes and no. 16 to 18-inch overhangs that are used to protect your house from the elements should go everywhere. But extending overhangs to a width needed for shading is not necessary on all sides of the house. Roof overhangs matter most on the south side of the house. And I'm talking about roof overhangs for shading. Most people follow traditional passive solar design principles, meaning they have a roof overhang sized so that the south-facing windows are fully shaded at noon on June 21st. June 21st is when the sun is highest in the sky. Using the program that I talked about, building professionals determine what angle and width your overhang should be based on the sun's position in the sky on June 21st. The ideal overhang size and angle will allow you to have full sun at noon on December 21st, when the sun is relatively low in the sky. So, a good overhang design allows more winter sun to come in than summer sun, giving you more solar heat during cooler months and more shading in hotter months. This will obviously save energy and utility costs. Occasionally, another date is used depending on where you live and how long the summer is in your region. For example, although peak sun angles occur at the solstice on June 21st, peak temperature and humidity are more likely to occur in August. So in hot temperature climates, you might want to widen your roof overhangs so you get more shading, not only in the summer, but in the late spring and early fall when it's still hot. But if you live in a cold climate, you can shorten your roof overhangs to get less shading throughout the year. In part 2 of this mini lesson, we'll go over whether north, east, and west windows will benefit from wide shading overhangs. Plus, I'll tell you what you can do to protect your house from the sun's heat and rain if you either don't want overhangs or can't have them because of building codes. Well, that's all I have for you this week. Join me again next week for part 2. I hope you learned as much as I did, and I hope you'll come back for the next episode of Build Your House Yourself University. BYHYU. Please remember that the purpose of this podcast is simply to educate and inform. It's not a substitute for professional advice. The information that you hear is based only on the opinions, research, and experiences of my guests and myself. That information might be incomplete, it's subject to change, and it may not apply to your project. In addition, building codes and requirements vary from region to region, so always consult a professional about specific recommendations for your home.